Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in to HK Cheating Stories. We appreciate each and every one of you joining us. Where in the world are you watching from? Let us know in the comments. Now, let's get the story started. My name is Emma, and I never thought the people I loved most would be the ones to betray me. 1 week before my sister's wedding, I discovered a truth so devastating it shattered everything. My trust, my relationship, even my family. But the worst part? No one believed me. It all started with subtle things. Things that, at first, I told myself were nothing. Small gestures, lingering touches, too much laughter. My younger sister, Lily, had always been a bit self-absorbed, but lately, she had been acting strangely around my boyfriend, Jake. At first, I chalked it up to wedding excitement. She was getting married, after all. Maybe she was just in high spirits, being extra friendly with everyone. But as the days went by, I noticed that her friendliness was only directed at Jake. Whenever he made a joke, even the stupid, corny one she used to roll her eyes at, she laughed like it was the funniest thing she'd ever heard. She touched his arm unnecessarily when she spoke to him, always leaning in a little too close. And her eyes, God, her eyes. She watched him like a predator watches its prey. I tried to push the thoughts away. You're imagining things, I told myself. She's just being affectionate. But deep down, something felt wrong. Then came the dinner that changed everything. It was a casual family gathering at my parents' house, just a normal Sunday dinner. Or at least, that's what it was supposed to be. We were all sitting at the dining table, chatting and laughing. My mom was fussing over the food, my dad was telling one of his old stories, and I was sitting beside Jake, enjoying the meal. Everything seemed fine until I noticed Lily. She was sitting directly across from Jake, her gaze fixed on him like he was the only person in the room. Whenever he spoke, she hung on to every word, smiling, nodding, laughing just a little too much. And then, without thinking, she reached out and lightly touched his wrist, laughing at something he'd said. I felt my stomach tighten. I watched her closely after that, and the more I observed, the more I saw it. The way she positioned herself near him every chance she got, the way she found excuses to brush against him. At one point, I excused myself to grab something from the kitchen. When I returned, I caught a glimpse of something that made my breath hitch. Lily was whispering something to Jake, her hand resting lightly on his shoulder. He chuckled, shaking his head, but she responded with a playful smirk, flipping her hair over her shoulder. The moment they saw me, Lily quickly pulled her hand away and sat back, acting as if nothing had happened. My heart started pounding. What the hell was that? I spent the rest of the evening in a daze, watching, analyzing, second-guessing myself. I wanted to believe that it was all in my head, that I was being paranoid. But deep down I knew something was wrong. That night, as Jake and I drove home, I turned to him, trying to keep my voice steady. Did you notice how Lily was acting tonight? He glanced at me, confused. What do you mean? I swallowed hard. The way she was laughing at everything you said, touching you. She was all over you. Jake let out a small chuckle. Emma, come on. She's just excited about the wedding. She's being friendly, that's all. Friendly. I wanted to believe him. I really did. But the way my stomach churned told me that this wasn't just friendly. I forced a smile, nodding as I turned to look out the window. Maybe I was imagining things. Maybe I was overthinking it. Or maybe my worst fears were about to come true. That night, sleep didn't come easily. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, my mind replaying every little interaction between Lily and Jake. The laughter, the touches, the whispers. Was I really imagining things? Or was something happening right in front of me? By morning, I had convinced myself that I needed to let it go. I was being ridiculous, right? Jake had been with me for years. He wasn't the type to stray. And Lily, she was my sister. Maybe she was just being affectionate. Maybe my jealousy was clouding my judgment. But then, things got worse. Over the next few days, I started paying more attention, and what I saw made my skin crawl. Lily wasn't just being friendly. She was being deliberate. Every time we were in the same room, she found a way to sit next to Jake. If I was on one side, she made sure she was on the other. She touched his arm when she spoke to him, even when there was no reason to. And the worst part? He wasn't pushing her away. At first, I tried to justify it. He was just being polite. Maybe he really didn't notice. But deep down, something inside me snapped. I had to say something. One night, as we were lying in bed, I finally turned to Jake, my voice steady but tense. "Jake," I started, "can we talk?" He looked up from his phone. "Of course. What's wrong?" I took a deep breath. "It's Lily. She's acting weird around you." His brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" I hesitated, choosing my words carefully. "She's always next to you, always laughing at your jokes, even the dumb ones. She touches you. I mean, did you notice how she was at dinner the other night?" Jake let out a short laugh, shaking his head. "Emma, you're overthinking this." There was again that same phrase. "She's just excited about the wedding," he continued. "She's always been affectionate, you know that." I clenched my jaw. "Not like this." Jake sighed and sat up, rubbing his face. "So what are you saying? That she's hitting on me?" The way he said it, like it was the most absurd thing in the world, made me second-guess myself for a moment. But then I remembered the way she looked at him when she thought I wasn't watching. The way she touched him. The way she had whispered in his ear, standing too close, too familiar. "Yes," I said firmly. "That's exactly what I'm saying." Jake's expression shifted from disbelief to frustration. "Emma, come on. She's your sister." "I know she's my sister," I shot back. "Which is why this is so messed up." He ran a hand through his hair, exhaling. "Look, even if she was flirting, it doesn't mean anything. I'm with you. I love you." His words should have reassured me. But something about the way he avoided my eyes, the way he hesitated, sent a cold shiver down my spine. "So what?" I challenged. "You just let her? You don't think you should set some boundaries?" "Boundaries?" He laughed dryly. "What do you want me to do, Emma? Tell your sister to stay away from me? That's ridiculous." I swallowed hard, feeling the frustration rise in my chest. "You could at least make it clear that you're not interested in whatever game she's playing." Jake sighed again, clearly tired of the conversation. I have made it clear. By not engaging. By not flirting back. But that was the thing. He wasn't stopping her either. I could feel my heart pounding as I stared at him, searching for something, some sign that he really understood what I was saying. But instead, he just looked exhausted, like I was making a big deal out of nothing. My fingers curled into the blanket as I fought back the urge to scream. Why was I the only one seeing this for what it was? After a long, tense silence, Jake shook his head. "Emma, I think you're letting your imagination run wild. Lily isn't trying to steal me. She's getting married in a week, for God's sake." The way he said it, so casual, like it was the most obvious thing in the world, made me want to laugh. Because if she was so committed to her wedding, then why was she acting like this? I turned away, staring at the wall. "Forget it," I muttered. "Just forget I said anything." Jake hesitated before reaching out to touch my arm. "Hey, I don't want you to feel like I'm dismissing you. I just think maybe you're seeing things that aren't there." I forced a tight smile. "Yeah, maybe." But in my gut, I knew the truth. I wasn't overthinking it. And I had a terrible feeling that I was about to find out just how wrong Jake was. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was very, very wrong. Jake had dismissed my concerns. My mother had made me feel like I was crazy. But deep down, I knew what I had seen, what I had felt. Lily wasn't just being friendly. She was testing the limits, seeing how far she could push before someone called her out. And I had had enough. The longer I stayed silent, the more suffocated I felt. Every time I saw Jake and Lily in the same room, my stomach twisted with unease. Every glance, every laugh, every touch sent a wave of nausea through me. So I did the only thing I could. I confronted her. I called Lily the next morning, my heart hammering against my ribs. She picked up on the second ring, her voice light and cheerful, like nothing was wrong. "Hey, Em, what's up?" she chirped. I clenched my jaw, gripping the phone tighter. How could she act so normal when I felt like I was drowning? "Can we meet?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. "Just the two of us." She hesitated, but only for a second. "Sure. How about coffee at that little cafe near my place?" "Fine. See you in an hour." I hung up before she could say anything else. By the time I arrived, my hands were trembling slightly. Lily was already there, sitting at a table by the window, a bright smile on her face. She waved at me like we were just two sisters catching up. I slid into the seat across from her, my stomach twisting into knots. She started talking immediately, babbling about wedding details, flowers, dresses, seating arrangements, as if she hadn't spent the past few weeks acting like a lovesick schoolgirl around my boyfriend. I let her talk for a few minutes, my fingers tightening around the edge of my cup. But then, I couldn't hold it in any longer. "Lily," I cut in, my voice sharp. She blinked, clearly caught off guard by my tone. "What?" I took a deep breath, my heart pounding. "We need to talk." Her smile faltered slightly. "About what?" I leaned forward, locking eyes with her. "About Jake." For a split second, something flickered in her expression. Surprise? Guilt? I couldn't tell. But then she let out a laugh, light, airy, completely fake. "Oh my God, Emma, don't tell me you're still on that," she said, rolling her eyes. "Are you seriously mad at me for being nice to your boyfriend?" I clenched my jaw. "Nice? That's what you call it." She crossed her arms, feigning confusion. "I don't know what you're talking about." I leaned in even closer, my voice dropping to a low, steady whisper. "Lily, I see the way you act around him, the way you touch him, the way you look at him when you think I'm not watching." Her face darkened. "You're being ridiculous." I ignored her attempt to dismiss me. "You flirt with him, Lily, and I want to know why." She scoffed, shaking her head. "You're paranoid. Jake is practically family. I would never." I slammed my hand down on the table, making our coffee cups rattle. "Stop lying to me." I snapped, my voice shaking. "Just tell me the truth." For the first time, I saw a crack in her confident facade. Her lips pressed together, her fingers tapping nervously against the table. Then she laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. "Oh my God, Emma," she said, shaking her head again. "You're so insecure. No wonder you're seeing things that aren't there." Her words cut through me like a blade. I stared at her, my throat tightening. "I'm not insecure," I whispered. "I just know when someone's crossing a line." Lily let out a dramatic sigh and stood up, her chair scraping loudly against the floor. "I don't have time for this. I have a wedding to plan. Maybe you should focus on your own relationship instead of making up stories about mine." She grabbed her purse, shot me one last pitying look, and walked out of the cafe without another word. I sat there, frozen, my hands curled into fists. The worst part wasn't that she denied it. It was that she didn't actually deny it. She never said I was wrong. Never said she wasn't flirting with Jake. She just made me feel like I was crazy for even bringing it up. And that scared me more than anything else. I left the cafe feeling like I had just been gaslit into oblivion. Lily had twisted everything, making it seem like I was some insecure, jealous mess instead of someone who had caught on to the truth. And now, not only did I have to deal with her blatant flirtation with Jake, but I had to process the fact that she didn't even care how it affected me. She wasn't even trying to hide it anymore. By the time I got home, I felt exhausted, emotionally drained, and more alone than ever. But I wasn't prepared for what happened next. That night, my phone rang. It was Mom. I hesitated before answering, already feeling a pit forming in my stomach. "Hello." The moment I picked up, my mother's voice came through, sharp and furious. "Emma, what the hell is wrong with you?" I stiffened, my fingers tightening around the phone. "What?" "I just got off the phone with Lily," she snapped. "She's devastated. She told me you accused her of trying to steal Jake. Right before her wedding." My blood ran cold. Of course. Of course Lily ran straight to Mom, twisting the story to make herself look like the victim. I closed my eyes, exhaling sharply. "Mom, listen to me." "No, you listen to me," she cut me off. "I can't believe you would do something like this. Your sister is getting married in a week, and instead of supporting her, you're accusing her of what? Flirting with your boyfriend? Are you even listening to yourself?" I gritted my teeth. "Yes, I am. And I know what I saw." "Oh, for God's sake, Emma," she groaned. "Lily has been under so much stress. She told me she's been trying to be extra nice to Jake because she doesn't want things to be awkward between them. And now you've taken that kindness and turned it into this." My hands were shaking with anger. "Mom, that's not what's happening. She's your sister." Mom yelled, "You're supposed to trust her." I let out a humorless laugh. "Trust her? You mean like how she's been sneaking around, touching my boyfriend every chance she gets? How she laughs at everything he says like he's the funniest person in the world? How she acts like I don't even exist when he's in the room?" "You are being ridiculous," Mom snapped. You're jealous, that's all. You've always had a hard time sharing the spotlight with Lily. I nearly dropped the phone. Excuse me. Oh, don't act surprised, she said coldly. Lily is the one getting married. Maybe you don't like that the attention isn't on you for once. Her words sliced through me like a knife. I felt my entire body go still. This wasn't just about Lily anymore. My own mother thought I was jealous of her. Not hurt, not betrayed, just jealous. And suddenly I realized something. They were never going to believe me. No matter what I said, no matter what I did, they had already chosen their side. I swallowed the lump in my throat. So you don't believe me at all? Mom let out an exasperated sigh. No, Emma, I don't. Because it's insane. Lily would never do something like that. You need to let this go and apologize to your sister before you ruin this family over nothing. I clenched my jaw, my hands curling into fists. Nothing. They thought I was making a big deal over nothing. Emma, Mom continued, her voice softening, like she was trying to talk me down. Just call her, okay? Tell her you're sorry. She's really upset. The last thing we need is this kind of drama before the wedding. I took a deep, shaky breath. I knew what she wanted me to say. She wanted me to give in, to be the good daughter who fixed everything, even when I wasn't the one who had broken it in the first place. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't pretend like I hadn't seen what I saw. I couldn't act like I wasn't drowning in my own rage and hurt. So instead, I said, I have to go. And I hung up. The moment the call ended, I let out a trembling breath, my entire body shaking. This was worse than I had imagined. It wasn't just Lily who was against me. It was my whole family. I was alone in this, and I had never felt more betrayed in my life. I had spent the past week drowning in frustration and self-doubt. Jake kept telling me I was overthinking. Mom at all but called me jealous. And Lily? She acted as if nothing had happened, as if I hadn't confronted her at that cafe, as if she hadn't twisted the story to make me look insane. I wanted to believe that I was crazy, that maybe I had been imagining things, that maybe Lily's actions weren't as calculated as they felt. But deep down, something inside me refused to let it go. And then, just when I was starting to convince myself that I was wrong, I found out the truth. It was exactly 1 week before the wedding when it happened. I had been avoiding my family as much as possible, but my parents insisted I come over to help with the final wedding preparations. I didn't want to, but part of me felt guilty, like maybe I was ruining things by holding on to this grudge. So, against my better judgment, I went. My parents' house was buzzing with last-minute chaos. Decorations being finalized, seating arrangements being debated, flowers arriving in giant bouquets. But none of that mattered, because what I saw that day shattered everything. I had just pulled up to the house and was walking toward the front door when I heard voices. Low, hushed voices, from the side of the house. I don't know why I stopped. I don't know why my feet moved on their own, leading me toward the backyard instead of straight inside. But the moment I rounded the corner, my heart stopped. Lily and Jake, pressed together, her arms wrapped around his neck, his hands gripping her waist, their lips locked in a kiss so passionate, so deep, that for a moment, my brain refused to register what I was seeing. I stood there, frozen in time, as my entire world crashed down around me. They didn't even see me. They were so wrapped up in each other, so lost in their own disgusting betrayal, that I could have been standing a foot away and they still wouldn't have noticed. Then, something inside me snapped. What the hell is this? My voice was sharp, shaking with fury, but loud enough to cut through the moment like a knife. Jake and Lily jerked apart like they had been electrocuted. Lily's face drained of color, her eyes wide with shock. Jake stumbled back, his mouth opening and closing like a fish gasping for air. Emma, he started, his voice shaky, but I wasn't about to hear it. I took a step forward, my whole body trembling. Tell me I didn't just see what I saw. I hissed. Go on. Lie to me again. Lily took a shaky breath, stepping forward. Emma, please, it's not. Not what it looks like. I spat, my voice rising. That's what you're going to say? Tears welled up in her eyes. I didn't mean for this to happen. Oh, you didn't mean to wrap your arms around my boyfriend? You didn't mean to shove your tongue down his throat. My voice cracked, raw with betrayal. Explain to me, Lily, exactly how this was an accident. Jake ran a hand through his hair, looking desperate. Emma, listen. Shut up, I snapped, turning on him with pure venom. You told me I was crazy. You told me I was overthinking. You made me feel like I was losing my damn mind. And all this time, I let out a sharp, humorless laugh, my vision blurring with rage. You were screwing my sister. Jake's face twisted in guilt, but he didn't deny it. He didn't even deny it. That was the moment I realized something. He wasn't sorry he did it. He was sorry he got caught. My hands clenched into fists, my chest heaving. I felt like I was suffocating, like the world had collapsed in on itself. Tears streamed down Lily's face now. Emma, I swear, I never wanted to hurt you. I laughed bitterly. Well, congratulations. Because you did. I didn't wait for another excuse. I turned on my heel, storming away, ignoring their desperate calls behind me. Jake shouted my name. Lily sobbing. None of it mattered. I walked straight to my car, hands shaking so hard that I fumbled with the keys. When I finally got inside, I slammed the door shut and sat there, gripping the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. My chest rose and fell in uneven gasps. I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry. I wanted to go back in time and never, ever doubt myself. Instead, I did the only thing I could. I grabbed my phone, opened my messages, and typed out a single text to Jake. We're done. Don't ever contact me again. Then, before I could give him the chance to reply, I turned off my phone, threw it onto the passenger seat, and drove away. I had no idea where I was going. All I knew was that I couldn't stay here. Not after this. I drove for hours, my mind spinning, my vision blurring with unshed tears. I had replayed the moment over and over again in my head. The way Lily had wrapped herself around Jake. The way he hadn't even hesitated to kiss her back. Every time I thought about it, another piece of me shattered. By the time I reached my apartment, I felt hollow. I moved on autopilot, walking inside, locking the door behind me, and collapsing onto the couch. Then the phone call started. First Jake, then Lily, then Mom. I ignored every single one of them. I wasn't ready. I didn't want to hear their excuses, their pathetic apologies, or whatever lie they'd come up with to justify what they did. But my mother? She was relentless. By the 10th missed call, I finally gave in, my shaking fingers pressing the answer button. The moment I picked up, her voice exploded through the speaker. Emma, what the hell is going on? I squeezed my eyes shut, exhaling sharply. Did Lily call you? She did, Mom snapped. And she's in tears. She told me you freaked out and started screaming at her, that you called off your relationship with Jake out of nowhere. What is going on? A cold, bitter laugh escaped me. Of course. Lily, the victim. Did she also tell you I caught her kissing my boyfriend? I said, my voice trembling with fury. Silence. For a second, just a second, I thought I had shocked my mother into speechlessness. But then she said something that made my blood boil. Emma, are you sure that's what you saw? I felt my entire body go rigid. What? I mean, maybe you misunderstood, she said carefully. Maybe it was just, Are you kidding me? I exploded. I watched them, Mom. I saw them with my own eyes. What the hell do you mean? Am I sure? I don't know. Honey, she said, her voice softening. This is a lot to process. Maybe you should calm down before jumping to conclusions. Jumping to conclusions. I let out a sharp, humorless laugh. So, when I told you Lily was flirting with Jake, you didn't believe me. And now, when I catch them kissing, you still don't believe me? Emma, it's not that I don't believe you, but what, Mom? My voice cracked. But Lily's the golden child? But she could do no wrong? But you'll always defend her, no matter what. She sighed heavily. You don't understand. She's under a lot of stress. Oh my God, stop. I cut her off, my hands shaking. I don't care how stressed she is. That doesn't give her the right to betray me. Emma, please, Mom said, her voice pleading now. It's her wedding in a few days. Can't you just let this go? Let go. I nearly dropped the phone. Are you serious? My voice was barely a whisper. You want me to let go? She betrayed me. And you expect me to just, what? Show up at her wedding, smile for pictures, pretend like nothing happened. Mom was quiet, and in that silence I got my answer. She did expect me to pretend, because Lily's happiness mattered more than my pain. I felt a lump rise in my throat, my chest tightening with anger, with heartbreak, with years of being pushed aside, overshadowed, ignored. For the first time in my life, I realized that no matter what Lily did, no matter how badly she hurt me, my family would always take her side. I swallowed hard, gripping the phone so tightly my knuckles turned white. "Well, I can't let it go," I said, my voice sharp. "And I won't." Mom sighed again, but this time there was something colder in her tone. "Then I don't know what to say, Emma. But if you ruin this wedding over something so petty—" A bitter laugh escaped me. "Petty?" She hesitated. "I didn't mean it like that. I just—" "Forget it." I cut her off. "Just forget it." Then, before she could say another word, I hung up. And for the first time that night, I let myself cry. I curled up on the couch, pulling my knees to my chest, and sobbed. Not just for what Lily and Jake had done, but for what I had lost. My family, my mother, my sense of security, my trust in the people I loved. They had all turned their backs on me. I was completely alone, and I had no idea what to do next. The days that followed felt like a blur of anger, grief, and exhaustion. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Jake's hands on Lily's waist, their lips pressed together like I had never even existed. And worse, my own family had made it clear where their loyalty lay. Not with me. I had tried calling Lily, if only to scream at her one last time, but she ignored my calls. The same one for my parents. The only person who seemed remotely concerned was my cousin, Emma, who had texted me asking if I was okay. I wasn't. And yet, despite everything, the wedding was still moving forward. I had expected, hoped, even, that Ethan, Lily's fiancé, would somehow find out the truth and call it off. But I hadn't told him. I had been too overwhelmed, too heartbroken, too exhausted to even think about it. But as the wedding day approached, something inside me snapped. Ethan deserved to know. So, with a shaky breath, I picked up my phone and dialed his number. He answered on the second ring. "Emma." His voice was laced with confusion. "Is everything okay?" No, nothing was okay. But I swallowed back my emotions and said, "I need to tell you something about Lily." A long pause. "What about her?" I hesitated for only a second before the words came spilling out. Everything. The flirting, the lingering touches, the kiss. How my family had refused to believe me. How they had gaslit me into thinking I was crazy. Ethan was silent through it all. Not a single word. When I finally finished, my voice hoarse and broken, there was a long stretch of nothing but dead air. Then, finally he spoke. "Thank you for telling me." His voice was eerily calm. "I need to process this." And then the line went dead. I stared at my phone, my stomach twisting into knots. What did that mean? Would he confront her? Would he still marry her? I didn't know. But I did know one thing. I wasn't going to that wedding. I couldn't stand there, pretending like nothing had happened, watching Lily walk down the aisle in white, acting like she hadn't betrayed me in the worst possible way. So, when the day finally arrived, I locked myself in my apartment and turned my phone off. But then, around 2 hours after the ceremony was supposed to start, my cousin Emma showed up at my door, breathless, her face lit up with shock and excitement. "Oh my God, Emma," she panted. "You won't believe what just happened." I frowned. "What are you talking about?" She grabbed my hand, eyes wide. "Ethan, he called off the wedding." I felt my heart lurch in my chest. "What?" She nodded, still trying to catch her breath. "Right there, at the altar, in front of everyone." I swallowed, my pulse skyrocketing. "What did he say?" Emma's face lit up with something that looked almost gleeful. When it came time to say "I do," he just paused. And then he turned to the crowd and said, "I can't do this. I can't marry someone who betrayed her own sister." My breath hitched. Emma continued, her voice almost breathless with excitement. "Lily turned pale, your parents looked horrified, and everyone started whispering, trying to figure out what the hell was going on. And then Ethan looked your mom and dad straight in the eye and said, 'I thought you should know why Emma hasn't been around lately.'" I clapped a hand over my mouth. "Oh, and Lily?" Emma added, shaking her head. "She lost it." She started crying, begging him to listen, trying to say that it wasn't what it looked like. But Ethan he walked away. He left her standing there in front of everyone. A stunned silence settled between us. I didn't know what to feel. Relief? Vindication? Sadness? All of it. I sank onto my couch, my mind spinning. So that's it? It's over. Emma hesitated. For Ethan, yeah. But your parents, they're furious. Your mom has been trying to call you nonstop. They're blaming you for ruining the wedding. Of course they were, because in their eyes, Lily could do no wrong. I let out a bitter laugh. Good. Let them be mad. Emma grinned, then pulled me into a tight hug. I just wanted you to know that you weren't crazy, Em. You were right all along. I clung to her, my throat tightening, because for the first time in what felt like forever, someone believed me. And that, at least, was enough. Even after the wedding disaster, the storm wasn't over. If anything, it had only just begun. The moment Emma left my apartment, my phone started buzzing again. Mom, Dad, even Lily. Each call sent another wave of dread crashing over me. I let them all go to voicemail. But the texts? I couldn't ignore those. Mom, what have you done? Dad, call us. Now. Lily, you ruined my life. You jealous asterisk. I stared at my phone, my fingers tightening around it. Jealous? That was rich, coming from a woman who had been throwing herself at my boyfriend. The anger that had been simmering inside me boiled over. I wasn't going to let them twist this around. Not again. So I typed out a single response and sent it to our family group chat. Me, I didn't ruin anything. Lily did, and you all chose to ignore it. Don't contact me again unless it's to apologize. Then, for the first time in days, I turned off my phone. I sat back, exhaling shakily, trying to process everything that had happened. Jake was out of my life. Lily had been exposed for who she truly was. Ethan had walked away before making the worst mistake of his life. So why did I still feel so empty? Because deep down, I had lost more than a relationship. I had lost my family. And despite everything they had done, that realization hurt more than I wanted to admit. The following days were eerily quiet. No more calls. No more messages. It was as if my family had decided that since I wouldn't bend to their will, I didn't exist. Fine, if that's how they wanted it. I wasn't going to beg for their love. Instead, I focused on myself. I started therapy, something I should have done a long time ago. I needed to untangle years of being overshadowed, dismissed, made to feel like I was less than. I took time to grieve. Not just the end of my relationship, but the illusion I had held onto for so long. The belief that my family would always have my back. It was painful, but it was necessary. Then, one night, a week after the wedding that never happened, I got an unexpected message. Ethan. I stared at my screen, my heart pounding. Ethan, can we talk? I hesitated. After everything, I wasn't sure I had anything left to say. But against my better judgment, I replied. Mia, we met at a quiet cafe, far from the places our families would frequent. The moment I saw him, I felt a strange pang of guilt. He looked exhausted, like he had aged years in just a few days. Hey, I said softly, sliding into the seat across from him. He gave me a tired smile. Hey, for a few seconds, we just sat there in silence. Then he let out a breath and shook his head. I should have seen it sooner. I blinked. Seen what? That she was like this, he admitted. I kept making excuses for her selfishness, telling myself it was just wedding stress. But she wasn't just careless, was she? She was cruel. I swallowed hard. Yeah. Ethan ran a hand through his hair. After I left the wedding, she called me, begging me to reconsider. She said she was sorry, that she'd made a mistake, that she loved me. I tensed. And what did you say? He let out a dry laugh. I told her love doesn't look like that. That love isn't betraying your own sister and expecting no consequences. I felt something shift inside me. A small, unexpected warmth. He believed me. For the first time, someone from my family circle truly saw what I'd been going through. Ethan met my gaze, his expression serious. I wanted to thank you, Emma. If you hadn't told me, I would have married someone who didn't respect me, who didn't respect anyone. I nodded, my throat tight. You deserve to know. He gave me a small, sad smile. So did you. And with that, he stood up, left a few bills on the table, and walked away. I sat there for a long time, staring at the door long after he was gone. His words echoed in my head. So did you. For years, I had been told my feelings didn't matter, that my instincts weren't worth trusting. That Lily was the perfect one, and I was just being dramatic. But I wasn't. I had been right all along. And now I had a chance to start over. Without Jake, without Lily, without a family that had never truly valued me. It would take time. Healing always does. But for the first time in my life, I wasn't looking for anyone else's approval. I was free, and that was enough. If there's one thing I've learned from all of this, it's to trust my gut. People will try to gaslight you, make you feel like you're overreacting, convince you that what you're seeing isn't real. But deep down, you know when something is wrong. Listen to that voice. I've also learned that family isn't just about blood. It's about who truly stands by you. If someone constantly disrespects your boundaries and betrays your trust, they don't deserve a place in your life. And most importantly, walking away isn't weakness. It's strength. I chose myself, and I'll never regret it.